Hello YouTube. I am going to show you my record collection today. Here are my hands. You've seen those before. Before you ask, because everyone seems to really like my dark, shiny nail polish. So, if you happen to like this nail polish, it is Opie, and it's called Susie Says Da, like as in D-A. There you go. So I apologize for my absence lately. I was pretty depressed. I don't know if it was last week or the week before, because I've missed 2 weeks of taping videos, and one of those days I went ahead and I made a video, but it was just kind of me talking about how depressed I was, and I was sort of just trying to reach out because I know other people, obviously other people deal with depression, and I was just sort of trying to explain, hey, like, this is what I'm feeling right now. You might feel the same sometimes. But it didn't really come across in an eloquent way, so something like that I might have to try again some other time. And just to let you know the sounds that you're hearing in the background, I just went balls to the wall today. I have all of my animals are out, which includes 3 dogs, a cat, and a ferret. So if you hear little scritching across the floor, it could be any of those beasts, but is most likely the ferret because he's the most active. And I just let him out of his cage. So I'm going to show you my record collection today, and what I'm trying to do is I'm preparing to make a mixtape. This week I have been, my house has had less people in it than it usually does because one of the people that lives here is out of town, and I've been spending a lot more time downstairs. Usually I kind of isolate myself upstairs, as I'm just sort of like I'm very introverted, even with people I know extremely well. My favorite is carrying one of my shoes across the floor right now. Every time I want to wear a certain pair of shoes, I have to look for both of them because my ferret carries them off into different places. It's hilarious. So anyway, and I've kind of been having a little bit of an analog week. I've been listening to all of my mixtapes, like my old mixtapes that I made myself, several that have been made for me, and I realized something today. Although I've had several different people in my life make me mixtapes and mix CDs, I have never been made one by like a significant other that I can remember. There was a guy that I knew from high school made me a mixtape in high school, but we didn't date until a few years after high school. But that is the only incidence that someone that I, have been in a relationship with has made me a mixtape. I've been made mixtapes by internet friends, by other really good friends in my life, and several of these friends have been gay men. Like, most of my good mixtapes I've gotten from gay men. So I've been listening to a lot of those this week, and I started thinking, I really want to make a mixtape. I haven't made a mix on a tape since 2011. So, and it's just, I'm sort of crippled by the possibility of it, because I haven't made one in a really long time. So I'm nervous because it is a much more intensive process than, you know, making a mix on iTunes and burning it on a CD, of course. And it's just, I'm so out of practice. But also, like, the staggering amount of formats that you can make a mixtape from now. Like, I could use a record, I could use a cassette tape, another cassette tape, I could use a CD. Do you want to be introduced to my ferret right now? Because he just walked up. This is Tundra. Hey cutie. Hey cutie cutie. He's a little sweetie. He's a little sweetie. I don't think ASMR ferret play is, you know, as typical as like match lighting or something. Which, by the way, I'm not totally sure I'm going to do the match lighting thing. So I have no desire to do it, and I think it's part of the reason that I haven't really been doing anything. Because I keep thinking, oh, I promised a couple people I'd do a match lighting video. I need to go get some matches. And how do I make that interesting? Like lighting matches. It's just not a personal trigger for me, so it's something that I can't really wrap my head around. And if my brain really isn't in the space of being interested in it, you know, I just don't want it to be a bad video. So for now, I may not do that one. So I apologize if you were one of the people that was waiting for it because I said I would do it. Anyway, so I was thinking about all the different formats of things that you can put on a mixtape now. Like, I could use a record, I could use the radio, I could use another cassette, I could use a CD, I could use my phone. Theoretically, I could use like Spotify or something. I mean, I haven't tried it, but I'm assuming that maybe I could. So anyway, I've got just so many options, and it's kind of like crippling me a little bit at the moment. Plus, I have not gone out to find any blank tapes yet. I don't even know if you can get blank tapes just at regular stores now. I seem to remember like Walgreens having them sometime in the last multiples of years. Last time I've looked for mixtapes. Because all of my tapes are so old that even though I have several that I could probably dub over without missing them, and they would look really cool because they're like from the 80s, maybe I'll just do that, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. That would make it even cooler. To just, you know, put the scotch tape over the edges, dub over it. Anyway, and I also just want to give a shout out to anyone that's ever made me a mix, whether it be tape, CD, digital, whatever. I am so appreciative, and I still listen to all the mixes that I have. I mean, even if they're bad, because someone took the effort to put songs together. I'm kind of bad about, like, if somebody gives me like an album, a burned off album of an artist or something, I might like listen to one song, and then if I don't really like it, that's it. I never listen to it again. Or I dread listening to it and I don't listen to it like ever, because it's not something that sounds like something I would like. Because my only CD player, I have one on my computer, but I don't really listen to CDs on my computer that often. But I do listen in my car sometimes to CDs. Usually it's just my phone, I just plug it in. Anyway, so thank you to anyone who's ever made me a mix, because I really appreciate it, and people just don't do it that much anymore. Ironically, because like as soon as mixes were able to be put on CDs, and I feel like probably the last mixtapes I made were like 2003 or so. But as soon as they started being put on CDs, which was a much easier way to make mixes, it didn't seem like mixes happened as often anymore. You know, mixes were much more of a tape thing. So, anyway, I'm thinking about making one, and the only thing I know so far is that I want side A to be like one certain mood and side B to be a different kind of mood, and I haven't decided what that is yet. So I'm going to show you some of my records. Try not to make this too long since this video is already 10 minutes long, and then it'll get me thinking about different things I might want to put on there. I do have some newer records, like this one, which is the Fiona Apple album from last year. Which there's kind of a debate as to whether new pressings of vinyl are even worth it, because the music is made so differently now that it's not really the best on vinyl anymore. But I do have some new vinyl too. This is my favorite Tori Amos album, and the actual vinyl is clear. Ooh, it's kind of like a milky blue color. Of course, like everything in my life, everything is covered in tornado debris. This is one of my husband's. I think this is the White Album. I don't really care about the Beatles that much. This one I think was from my dad's collection. I got a bunch of his albums he gave me before he died. This one I think maybe my former roommate Jill gave me, actually. You probably don't care about any of that. Bow wow wow. This is kind of terrible. I don't really like it that much. But, you know, Aphrodisiac is a fucking spectacular song. This is one of my favorite albums of all time. So it was made the year I was born, and it's just so good. So good. This one, the album cover is actually hanging up on the wall, so one of my favorites. Love me some Cure. I love this one too because it's, oops, sorry, bumping into the tripod. I'm not used to tripods. The low-priced 2-record set, 17 seconds, and Faith. How fucking spectacular is that? Another of my favorite albums, made the year of my birth, 1982. The top. Bam. Can't even handle it, can you? Oh my god, this one's so heavy. I think it's one of the 180 gram vinyl things. Which, whatever, I'm not a real audiophile. Like, I even think that cassette tapes sound okay. This one's my husband's. I don't really care about Daft Punk that much. I like them, but like they're just so repetitive. It's like a 6-minute song that's like repeating the same 2-second loop over and over, and I just can't handle it. Yeah, Bobby Darin. Lana Del Rey. I don't have her new album yet. That's one thing that I need to learn to do. I always tell myself this after I've already bought something. Like, often with new albums like this, they'll come with like a digital download or a CD of the LP that you're buying. And I don't have Lana Del Rey's new album that just came out this week. So I I should probably wait and buy the vinyl. That way I can get the digital download. And it's really super amazing when they do that, because it'll be like 25 bucks. So that's kind of a lot sometimes. Sometimes it's like 15 or 20 if it's somebody not as popular as Lana Del Rey, but sometimes it'll come with like a poster and a digital download, and you'll have the vinyl obviously, and it's just awesome. Some Depeche Mode. All the regulars. Devo's another band that's like, I love the imagery of Devo, I love the attitude of Devo, but the music itself doesn't really move me that much. I do like Thomas Dolby though. Sorry, it's hard to have a good angle to get it on the tripod, but to also, because I'm reaching really far. I have a lot of Brian Eno. In fact, 2 copies of that album, 2 copies of this album, because I have my dad's record collection, I have my record collection, and I have some of my mom's record collection, and they all had Brian Eno. This one's a good one. And I have this weird Brian Ferry. Some Peter Gabriel, yeah. This one is really rare, and it's all in pieces. Godly and Cream's Consequences. That one is a good one for mixes. It's just like this weird, crazy storyline thing. It's a concept album. Got some Goldfrapp, including the more recent one. Goldfrapp is one of the bands that they're really great about, like having a poster and the digital download and all that stuff. It's Grimes. Heart. Got all my mom's old Heart records. Which one is Dog and Butterfly? Before. The other 2. That's not right. I like to have them in chronological order. This is local band The Itch, and the band members are friends of mine, and they signed it. Dan, he's hilarious. Eat a fuck. And then Eric, his sweeter bandmate. Don't eat Dan's fuck. Don't. I love it. I love it so much. I went to their record release party and I got that just for like the price of the $5 cover. So I'm sure they lost money on that. Jesus. This one is, I'm not going to get the records out because I don't want this to be a really long video, but this is like one of those like $5 boxes that you get at a record store and you don't know what's going to be in it. So there's a bunch of terrible records in it, of course. Alright, I'm going to move on to crate number 2. I'm going to bring you along for the ride of setting up the next shot. Well, that wasn't too hard now, was it? Not too hard at all. I have a couple of Steve Martin comedy albums. I think they were both gifts. I don't know. I don't really listen to comedy albums ever, but it's nice to have them. This Massive Attack is a massive record. Oh my god. It has like 6 vinyls in it. A bunch of remixes. It came with the CD. It came with like a poster. The whole thing. Got this MIA. This one I just got recently. Unplugged. It's such a good album. Oh my god. sounds good on vinyl too. Of course, again, not like I know any better really. This one would be a good one to use. That down there in the corner is a patch. I still need to sew it onto something, but it's like nothing's worthy of my Gary Newman patch. But that's one that I only have in vinyl. This is one that I only have in vinyl. So a lot of these I don't have the digital version. All the Pink Floyd is my husband's. Gene Pitney, that's hilarious because I really only like that one song by him. But look at that. Look at the punum on that guy. Look at that guy's face. He looks so sweet. One of the best albums of all time. Got some Queen, got some Radiohead, several Radioheads, got like all the Roxy music you could ever ask for, ever, including 2 copies of country music, which is my favorite. Yeah. Nudity. I don't know if those are in the correct order. In fact, I'm pretty sure they're not. I'm not going to worry about it right now. I heard something interesting today about mermaids. That a lot of transgender people really like mermaids because of their... I guess she isn't strictly a mermaid since she has fins coming out of her feet, but I always think mermaid when I see this picture. Because mermaids just kind of don't have genitals. And I found that interesting, so that's pretty cool. A lot of Roxy music. It's another one of those bands that like my dad had, my mom had, I have. I always look for Roxy music every time I'm in a record store, which is so silly because I have all the Roxy music. It's just like the first thing I look for though. This is just like a really funny 3 exciting complete stories. I don't even think I've listened to it. It was my dad's. Got some disco. Got a lot of Talking Heads. This one's my favorite, Fear of Music. This is one I skipped. The first time I skipped school was in like junior high, I think, and I skipped school. I don't know if I did it specifically for this purpose, but I ended up like playing Shout over and over and over from that exact record and dancing. Or it might not be from that exact record. I don't know if my mom, I don't think she gave it to me, but either I borrowed it before the tornado and now it's just mine, or I bought one for myself and then hers was lost in the tornado. I don't know. Anyway, I listened to Shout over and over and over after I skipped school. This one I bought because I love the picture. It's just so awesomely bad. And I think I listened to the music and I thought to myself, yep, that's pretty much what I thought that would sound like. But it's been so long since I've listened to it. And the rest of those in the back are all my mom's. It's a bunch of Herb Albert and other weird stuff that I'm just like keeping safe for her. So yeah, there is my record collection. I don't think that really got me any closer to making my mix. I am nervous because I know that it's going to be an undertaking that's going to take several hours. It's going to maybe even days. thinking about, like, because the way that I usually make my mixes now is on iTunes, and I usually, like, meticulously and obsessively order the songs, you know, by dragging them around and listening to the transitions between songs and putting them in the right order according to how they sound flowing into each other. But it's going to be more difficult to do that with a tape. And at first I thought, maybe he'll just, like, make it on iTunes first, and then I can put it together on the tape. But I don't want to do that. I want to do it as if, you know, it's 2001 and I'm making a mixtape, like I would have been doing in 2001 when I was 18. I don't know if I can do it that same way anymore, because I didn't have all of the knowledge about song order that I've gained now. Like, I feel like I kind of know what I'm doing now, whereas before I might put 2 Tori Amos songs back to back, and to me I could not do that now. So anyway, what I'm thinking about doing is, like, all the songs I'm thinking about using, like, writing them on post-it notes and then, like, laying them all out on my kitchen table or something, and, like, just kind of conceptually thinking about the songs, and then, you know, moving the post-it notes around until I get the perfect order. So yeah, I'm thinking about all the different things, and I'm getting a little, I know I'm going to get really obsessed with it once I actually get it started, so I haven't gotten it started yet because I'm nervous about getting obsessed with something, because I have the rest of this afternoon and evening off, and I have tomorrow off, but then I work all weekend, so if I get really super into something like mixtape making, I might not have the time to finish my execution of it, and I don't really want to start it until I can finish it, because I'm the type of person that once I get obsessed with something, it's just, my brain's not going to stop until I finish it. Anyway, I hope you're having a wonderful week, and I will hopefully be back next week, back on a regular schedule, and all that good stuff. So, enjoy your weekend, and I hope you're doing fun summery things. I am so excited because I'm going to the drive-in this weekend, and they're showing Maleficent, which I am completely in love with. I've seen it once, and I plan to see it over and over and over, and the new X-Men movie. So I'm a little ambivalent about X-Men because they just don't really feature female characters that often, and they really shafted the Rogue character. She was much more badass in the comics, I've heard. I haven't actually read the comics, but I wish they would have made her more badass in the movies, and, you know, had more female characters than just, like, her and Storm or whatever. Anyway, I'm not going to go off on that tangent. I'm keeping an open mind because it could be fun. It does include Patrick Stewart, so I'm always in for that. So yeah, I hope you're getting to also do fun summery things wherever you are, like canoeing and hanging out outside drinking beers and all that fun stuff. Yeah, it's fun to embrace whatever season is going on. So I will see you next week. Bye!